Okay, so we're going to do lesson number 25, writing division answers as mixed numbers. Alright, there's a ribbon here. It's 15 inches long. We're going to divide it into 4 equal parts. So let's go ahead and do that as a long division problem. 15 inches long, and we're going to divide it by 4. 4 equal parts. Alright, dividend 15. How many times, let's write out our factors of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, there's some factors of 4. Which one's closest? 16 is closest, but it's more than 15, so we're going to go down to 12. So we're going to start out with 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract. Remainder of 3. But in this situation, a remainder of 3 doesn't really make much sense when we're talking about a ribbon here. This is how, I'm going to do this in a different color. This is how you write a mixed number when you have instead of a remainder. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this number right here, and you're going to use that and that number to make a fraction. This number goes on top. The remainder goes on top. The divisor goes on bottom. So this is 3 3/4. So each one of these strips of the ribbon is going to be 3 3/4. 3 3/4. 3 3/4. 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Hopefully, if you add all this up, it's going to be to 15. But what's repeated addition? Multiplication. So let's go ahead and take 3 3/4 4 times. 3 3/4 times 4. If you were to multiply this out, you're going to get 15 inches. Okay? Which is how long the ribbon is. Alright, so here's 3 practice problems. These are all going to have mixed numbers. You're going to get a remainder, and instead of writing remainder, I want you to do a mixed number. I'm going to fly through the division part really fast, and then I'm going to talk about the remainder. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's going to be 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract. You got 1 remainder. Okay, let's do this one, and I'll do the remainder. I'll come back and do the remainders. If you want to pause this and do this on your own and see if you get the right answer, that might be a good strategy to practice. Alright, 8, 16, 24, 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so this is also going to be the 4th one. 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. Alright, last one. Let me turn the computer a little bit. 7, 14, 21, 7 times 4, 28, 35, 7 times 6 is 42. So this one is going to be 42. Subtract. We got 6 left over. Alright, we got a remainder, remainder, remainder. Now this is the important part. We are going to change this to mixed numbers. Okay, the bottom number, each of these is going to have a fraction because that's what a mixed number is. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction put together. The bottom number goes on top. The divisor goes on bottom. That's simple. Same here. The bottom number goes on top. The divisor goes on bottom. That's simple. The bottom number, you can see this over here. I'm going to jump out of the screen for a second. The bottom number goes on top. The divisor goes on bottom. Okay? So now we have 1 mixed number, 2 mixed number, 3 mixed numbers. Okay? It's very simple. Okay, so let's find 1/3 of a circle. This circle represents 100% of a pie or pizza or whatever. Okay? So this is a 100%. If I want to find out what, if I want to divide this into 3 parts, that means we're going to take 100% of the circle and we're going to divide it into 3 equal parts. let's go ahead and do this really quick. 3 can't go into 1. 3 can go into 10. How many times? 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. You get 1. Bring down the 0. 3 will go into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract 1. At this point, you have a remainder. So what I'm going to do with this remainder, just the same thing. It goes on the top. Remainder goes on the top. And 3 goes on the bottom of your mixed number. So this is 33 1/3%. So that would be 33 1/3% of that circle. Okay, and just on a side note, not every division problem is set up the same. This is still a division problem. It's really an improper fraction, and we're going to change it to a mixed number. But we're going to do that by using long division. 45 divided by 4. Top divided by bottom. You'll hear me say that a lot. Okay, so let's write a division problem for this. 45 is divided by what? So 45 is what's being divided. So I'm going to put that right there. 45. And it's divided by what? 4. So let's go ahead and go through this. One step at a time for the dividend. Can 4 go into 4? Yes, it can. So I don't have to uncover the 5. Act like the 5 is not there for now. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. 0. Bring down your 5. Okay? 4 will go into 5 how many times? 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. You get 1 left over. So this is going to be 11. And what's the fraction going to be? The remainder goes on top. The divisor goes on bottom. So this is going to be 11 1/4. So 45, I'll rewrite it really quick, over 4 is equal to 11 1/4. Okay? That's how you make an improper fraction into a mixed number. We're going to do Okay, so here's 2 more. 28 divided by 9. 43 divided by 7. Hey, 9 will go into 28 about 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. Subtract. 28 minus 7. 28 minus 27 is 1. So this is remainder goes on top. Divisor goes on bottom. 3 1/9. Go ahead and circle that. Okay? 7 will go into 43 about 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. Another remainder 1. Okay? So the remainder goes on top. Divisor goes on bottom. Okay? Alright, so it's getting kind of dark because the sun's going down, and if I turn on the light in this room, the light is right there. You can't really see it. But it gets so bright in here that it reflects off the board and it'll blind you if you're watching. So anyway, the next thing that we're going to learn in this lesson is multiples. So multiples we've kind of already talked about, so I'm not going to do too much of it. So if we're doing, what are the multiples of 3? That'd be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. Okay? If you're going to do the multiples of 4, you just basically write out, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and you go on from there. 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times, so the next one is 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. So those are multiples. So if someone asks you what's the third multiple of 4, you would just count over 1, 2, 3. So the third multiple of 4 would be 12. The third multiple of 3 would be 1, 2, 3 would be 9. Okay? Pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go into multiples too much because I know you guys are good at it. So that is lesson number 25. I'm gonna go play sword fight with my son Israel.
Hi, I'm Boo Boo.
He really wants me to go sword fight with him, so we're gonna go battle it out here in a second. All right, you guys have a good night. Thanks.